Well, hey everybody, welcome back to my week. Another week in my week. This is a new thing I'm trying here on my YouTube channel, basically a weekly little check-in. It's a personal diary. It's to help me let you know about what's going on in terms of like output, stuff that I want you to see and check out, and at the same time it's a way for me to keep track of my own goals and motivation and all that jazz. But let's get on to today's topics. I can't go into too much detail yet, but a regular show that I contributed to, too soon, it's not ended yet, it's coming to an end. Found out this week, I got the phone call that it's no longer going to be going on, and we've only got two more episodes left to make. So I'll tell you more about that when I can, but it was a bit of a bummer, man. It's a bit of a shame, especially because it's a show that has been around for a few years now within kids TV, and we've worked very hard at trying to keep it afloat when it's not really had much support internally. And it didn't have much budget anyway, so it's sort of this thing of like, we were always trying to make it work even though we weren't really being given a leg up. So the fact that it's coming to an end is sort of expected but still sad. So if you're wondering what show that is, you can probably figure it out. But yeah. That was a kick in the teeth. On another note, people have been saying, I saw in the comments the last video even, Chris, would you talk about your TV experience and, you know, what it's like working in television? Well, if you've been following me on Twitter, you might have noticed for a while I've been asking you lot out there, what would you say to coming to live events, specifically aimed at like students who are studying television and presenting and people who want to be involved in television at, say, a popular comedy venue, sit-down environment, me, several different guests over the course of several weeks. What would you say to coming down to those and asking your questions there and learning a lot there and having a laugh and getting to meet people who have worked in or do currently work in kids television? All I'm saying is, there's a reason I'm filling out this form. Stay tuned, you're going to be hearing some news very soon. Red Dwarf turned 30 this week. The first episode, The End, went out 30 years ago. 1988, before I was born, but I always feel like I grew up with Red Dwarf because I spent a lot of my childhood when I'd eventually, like, I think the first time I saw it was I snuck downstairs when my dad was watching a repeat late at night. And I was just fascinated by it. But eventually I was allowed to watch the VHSs because we had a big collection of the VHSs at my dad's house. And I fell in love with Red Dwarf. I absolutely adore it. I adore its weirdly bleak tone, especially in the early days. It's an absurdist sci-fi comedy with some very clever sci-fi ideas and some very dumb jokes. But in the first couple series in particular, it's wonderfully bleak. And I think my favourite thing about Red Dwarf is the character comedy, and it's at its strongest in the first 2 years. Certain episodes in the 90s. There's a lot of it in series 7 and 8. The two series people seem to like the least, but there's a lot of really good character stuff in there. And that's what I like. My favourite stuff is just the Lister and Rimmer in their dorm, like, arguing this, like just bitching and moaning to each other. Like, that first two series, those just short scenes between Craig Charles and Chris Barry are phenomenal. What is your favourite episode of Red Dwarf? I'd like to know in the comments if you're a boy from the Dwarf, or a girl from the Dwarf, obviously. If you're a fan of the show, what is your favourite episode? When did you first start watching Red Dwarf? For me, like I said, I caught my dad watching a repeat of Polymorph, and I was really freaked out because I just came to the living room and there was this alien thing going, and I was like, I don't understand what the hell's going on. But I sat down and watched the rest of it. And yeah, my favourite episode is from series 3, it's Marooned. It's the one with Lister and Rimmer, focusing again on what I like. Stuck in Starbug, just can't go anywhere, they're on a planetoid, and eventually the oxygen's going to run out, but the first problem is food. And obviously Lister's the only one who needs to eat, because Rimmer's a hologram. And it's also about keeping warm, and it becomes this debate on like what's worth keeping. Lister's guitar, like the one object he loves more than anything else in the universe, or Rimmer's camphor wood chest full of replica soldiers that is the only thing he has left from his dad. And it's just like, watching the debate of like, you don't need these things to stay alive, like you're a hologram, and remember being like, it's the principle, like I'm not letting you burn my stuff so you can live. It's so good, and just their interplay is brilliant. Maroon from series 3 is my favourite episode. What is yours? I'm betting the standout like favourite down there is going to end up being Gunman of the Apocalypse, but let's wait and see. Happy birthday, Red Dwarf. I salute you. I'm trying to shift a bunch of my comics. As you can see, I've got a lot of like, graphic novels. There's more going that way. And I started buying digital comics last year as opposed to physical copies of ongoing series I enjoy, because I just realised the physical ones take up so much room, and it's great when it's a series you really love and you treasure it, but then it just takes up so much space. With a book, that's different because it's just one slim thing on a shelf. I've got 5 long boxes on the floor over there. So what I've started doing on my eBay page, which is official CDJ, if you look at the account, I'll link it below in the description as well, I'm getting rid of a load of my comic books. All in either unique one-off issues or all in series. So right now there's a bunch of Justice League, the DC Forever Evil event, all of my Carnage mini-series are on there. Carnage v Deadpool's one of them. Go and check it out, link in the description. If you just want to expand your comic collection and try stuff out for yourself and give them a good home, because I don't just want to chuck them away. Like, they're good stories, but they're not ones I'm revisiting, so I'd rather someone else enjoy them. I'm selling them for like pretty decent rate. I'm selling them for cheaper than they are in collected editions. So check that out on my eBay down below. Yeah, buy that merch. I don't have merch. I never will. And finally for this week, I saw Black Panther. Oh my days! Loved it. Absolutely adored it. It was so good. If you would like to know what my thoughts on Black Panther are, boom! Big Damn Cast. Over on the Big Damn channel, we did a full episode, which will be out now, all about Black Panther. We review it, and then we go into spoilers. So it's up to you how much of it you listen to, but please do check it out. And I will see you again in the week at some point. This has been my week. Tatty bye! Ooh, it's a terrible sign-off.